IVM.
IVM Likes is an IVM production, and if you like our discussion about pop culture and movies, you should definitely check out our show Anything But Bollywood. Every week, Neha sits down to talk to some of India's best creators and filmmakers about art, cinema, their inspiration, and pretty much anything but Bollywood. So check it out, new episodes out every Monday.
Hey there, welcome to IVM Likes, your weekly dose of recommendations from us, the IVM staffers, and also pop culture discussion of all kinds. Today, joining me in the studio is Jaanam.
Hi.
And Gaurav.
What's up?
I'm Navin and today we'll talk about a bunch of stuff as usual. Starting off with Jaanam, what do you have to recommend?
I have a movie to recommend. It's
Nice.
called Hachi, A Dog's Tale.
Oh,
Yeah, as much as it's it's extremely...
Oh,
It's too sad. So it's one of those sad movies that definitely make you cry. You definitely can't get through this movie without shedding a tear.
okay.
So I watched this movie over the weekend with my mom, and we had buckets of tears to shed. And
laughing.
No, that sounds about right. Like,
I mean, other people's misery makes you laugh, Gaurav. It's fine. I understand that. So the movie is about a dog. It's based on a true story about a dog. The true story happened in Japan. And the movie adaptation takes place in America. And the protagonist, apart from the dog, is played by Richard Gere, who finds the dog and adopts him. And the dog starts living with him and his family. And so every day the dog follows Richard Gere to the station, and he goes off. He's a professor, so he goes off, does his work, comes back in the evening, and when he comes back, the dog goes back to the station to receive him. And this is like a daily routine. Every day he follows him, comes back, and everyone who's around the station is familiar with who Hachi is. So and even they are very fond of the dog. And one day he goes to work and Hachi follows him, and Richard Gere doesn't return. He passes away he has a stroke and doesn't come back. And for the next 9 or 10 years, the dog is waiting there at the same spot every day, waiting for Richard Gere to return, but he doesn't. So the whole story, the way it's shown, the whole journey of the dog with the family, the whole relationships, it's really very sad.
I've noticed like a lot of these dog movies are usually very sad.
Yeah,
Like
they are.
including Marley and Me.
Yeah, so with movies like Marley and Me, it's usually the dog who passes away and the family is mourning. Over here, it's the owner who's passed away and the dog is mourning, which is another, and the fact that it's based on a true story is what makes it even more sad.
It's a Akita breed.
Yeah, the breed is an Akita. It's an adorable breed.
Yeah. So in Japan, where this actually happened, the dog is still like, its memorial is still standing over there. And the people like actually kind of bowed down to it when it passed away. It was quite cute.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Same like with the story of Balto, which is who's a sled dog who rescued his master when he was lost in the wild like Alaskan region.
Okay.
So even Balto is a very inspiring story if you want to check out another movie on dog.
Okay.
It's animated though.
Oh, all right. So, that's my recommendation.
Cool.
Hachi, A Dog's Tale. If you want an emotional outlet, go ahead and watch the movie.
Keep a box of tissues handy.
Yeah, but
Never
not
know.
for...
Other purposes.
just for crying.
But the tears follow all the time anyways. Cool. Next up is Gaurav. Gaurav, what are you recommending?
So I'm recommending a rap artist named Lil Dicky. And guys,
Cool.
Can you say that again for us?
no, okay, but just so you guys know, Dicky is actually usually a nickname for Richard. All right, that's how it usually goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
But so that's his rap name. Lil
Is his
Dicky.
real name Richard?
No, it's not.
He's just being a dicky at this point.
So the reason I'm recommending this rap artist is because I think he's doing something very, very different in the rap industry. He actually wanted to be a comedian to begin with. So all of his songs have a hint of
Comedy.
a comic element to it.
Okay.
And they're really, really funny, and lyrically I think they're very, very like ingenious. So
It's stand-up comedy and music in one. So he's rapping and... Wait, not technically stand-up
it's
comedy.
not exactly, it's more of a, But it's all these topics which are really, really relatable to all of us, like pre-gaming before going to a party, for example. So like how does like a classic male pre-game happen? It's usually like, a bunch of guys, they'll start getting dressed and then, they'll like have a drink.
Essentially,
and then,
if you're white and you haven't had the problems that black people had, what do you talk about? It's exactly that. Okay. And this brings up a very interesting topic that I know recently people have been accusing Eminem for or Bruno Mars for, like appropriating culture.
Yeah.
Because like Bruno Mars is not even like remotely black American. He's just like he's half Asian and half pure Puerto Rican. So and similarly Eminem is like as blonde as you can get. So but I enjoy Little Dicky because I've heard Pillow Talk, which is a song about how after you've done having a hookup, how you realize that the person you slept with is not even anywhere in your zone. Like you're basically
poles apart.
So this girl is a vegan and a religious believer, and he's a meat eater and a proper atheist. So so they have all these clashes, and the whole bedroom turns into like a animated war zone essentially behind them. So the ideas are pretty cool.
It's actually the 49th most expensive music video of all time right now because of all the animation in that.
Wow,
I love
fun fact.
That's just something
49th, okay.
49th, yeah. But I mean, he's a Jewish white skinny guy, and he talks about like really funny stuff. And I mean, because he's Jewish, he talks about like there's a stereotype about how like Jewish people are very cheap. So there's this whole song called "Save That Money," which is about him trying to make a music video with spending as little money as possible.
Okay.
Oh, it's like thrift shop. Cool. Another white rapper.
Yeah. What about you, Naveen? What are you recommending for us today?
I thought you'd never ask. Cool. I'm recommending this documentary series on Netflix called Ugly Delicious. It's a show conceptualized by Dave Chang, who's a Korean chef who specializes in making fusion food, and his restaurant Momofuku is pretty famous. And in this show, he basically dives into the cultural value of food and how America is this hot pot where every kind of cuisine finds relevance, but also at the same time, there's a lot of stigma against certain food. For Asian countries, for example, Japan is like fine dining, but they won't go to a Chinese or a Korean restaurant willingly because they believe that someone's told them they had a bad stomach, or the ambience is not right, or they probably cook dog in the background, or they use too much MSG for their liking, So all this, all these stigma and racism that's inherent with food, he tries to burst the myth. So
do they do that with Indian food also? Like how Indian food is supposed to be spicy all the time, and
you're supposed to get diarrhea after you eat it.
Yeah, so every cuisine is in a way touched upon.
Okay.
I think he mainly focuses on Korean and Chinese because he feels very closely towards it.
Okay.
So he'll take up something like pizza. He'll take up something like dim sums and wontons and dumplings and tortellini, and try to uncover how every stuffed food is different to different cultures. Who did it right? Whose is better? And they kind of like source it from the original place where it came from. So for you, if the food is ugly, for somebody else it's delicious. Hence the concept Ugly Delicious.
Okay.
And I also like the fact that they featured some really cool names in this. Like there's Aziz Ansari, there's Ali Wong, there's Peter Meehan, who's a food critic, and all of them basically give their own slice of life with regards to food. I know everybody comes from a different cultural background, and that's the whole idea, that the show is promoting the fact that food is amazing if you kind of go into back alleys and kind of discover where the actual food is, instead of going to like a capitalist source. Like, the pizza episode focuses on how a pizza made in a actual small restaurant where there's a proper chimney as compared to like a Domino's or a Pizza Hut.
Okay.
So a glaring look at capitalism also playing a role in the food. So I think it's an all-encompassing documentary which we should all check out for the sheer fact that food in its all glory brings people together, and sometimes people use it to create divides. So let's just bury the hatchet and enjoy food. That's the whole idea. So Ugly Delicious by Dave Chang. It's on Netflix. All 8 episodes are out, so check it out.
Awesome.
So that's a round of recommendations, guys. Quickly, let's do a quick roundup. Jaanam?
I recommended Hachi, A Dog's Tale, the movie.
Gaurav?
I recommended Little Dicky, the rap artist.
And I recommended the show Ugly Delicious. And we'll be back after this break with our round of discussion, where we talk about, if we had the chance, what fictional character on TVs or movies we would like to play. But before we go into the break, we have a special recommendation from our very own Cyrus Brocha from Cyrus Says. So let's check out what he's recommending this week.
My name is Meena Kumari. I'm also known as Cyrus Brocha, author, writer and reader, in that order. I'm reading a lovely book. I've reached the page 27. It's 482 odd pages, and I started in July. It's called Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari, not the part of Zimbabwe, which is the capital, but something totally different, of Israeli descent. But it's a super book. It explains the rise of Homo sapiens. I didn't even know that there were so many different types of humanids that existed together. We thought that man basically came from A, then B, then C, then D. It didn't happen like that. They were actually coexisting, and the best group lived. Who were the best group? Bloody Homo sapiens. Read the book and see the past and the future.
Cool. That was Cyrus Brocha, and with that we go into the break. We'll see you on the other side.
Hi, I'm Ambika.
I'm Hoshna. Over the last couple of years during our travels across India, we've had the privilege to meet and interact with a number of passionate people who are involved in preservation or conservation of a local heritage, art form or culture, or even environment and wildlife.
So in this season, we shine a light on some of these individuals and organizations and the work they are doing, many of whom are using travel as a means to give back to their communities.
By showcasing these wonderful people and bringing their work to a larger audience, it's our small way of aiding their effort and giving you an opportunity to be part of a unique travel experience. New episodes of the Rediscovery Podcast out every Monday on IVM Podcasts.
Welcome back to IVM Likes. Here I am with Jaanam and Gaurav talking about pop culture in general. So today we sit down to discuss our own little fantasies when it comes to our favorite TV shows and movies. Like if you had to feature as a character on a favorite show or a movie, how would you see yourself playing that character, or would you see yourself playing that character better than the other person who actually did that? So, Jaanam, do you have any in mind?
Yeah, so actually the last line is highly doubtful. I don't see myself playing it better than the original character because that's not really possible because these are iconic characters. I have a list actually. There is, I would like to start with Alex Dunphy from Modern Family.
Okay.
So, I quite relate to her because, she's like the younger sibling, barring the brother. Like, I'm the younger sister in my house.
She's the middle child.
Yeah, she's the middle child. And... I'm talking about her whole relationship with Haley. And
I can relate. Yeah, I know your sister very well.
Yeah. So I can so relate to that. And like the younger one is the smarter one, and the elder one is just like taking selfies and like putting up fashion vlogs. Hey, Manta, if you're listening. I mean, you know it's true.
Yeah.
And I really relate to Alex, and like all the family members, turn to Alex to like help them solve their technical problems or whatever. So that's I really relate to that.
But a Modern Family has some very relatable characters because for the longest time, like when I look at the gay couple, I thought I was like, maybe there's a Cameron in me, but in fact I'm a Mitchell. I realized the older I grow, the more frustrating everybody around me is.
I mean, if you are Mitchell, you have a little bit of Cam in you.
Yeah. No, it's the other way around, by the way.
Is it? Okay.
There's an episode where they clearly hint at who's the top and the bottom in the relationship, so it's okay.
Oh. Okay.
But yeah, either way, there's a little bit of Cam in me. But do you have any in mind, Gaurav?
Yeah, actually, I have one of the same. I have a character from the same show. So I really relate to from Modern Family, Jay Pritchett. The grandfather.
Old guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not.
But right now you look like Manny a lot. So
Oh my god, that couldn't be more accurate.
I mean, for people who can't see me right now, I've actually like shaved my head bald and stuff like that, so that's why I might look like Manny, but I mean...
I'm glad they can't see you right now. God bless podcasting.
That's why I joined this business. They can't see me.
Yeah.
So the reason I really relate to Jay Pritchett a lot is because I've always, like, if you've asked anyone who knows me what I want to be when I grow up, it's always been, I want to be a grandfather when I grow up. Okay? This is a very weird response. Actually, I came up with the response after I saw this poster of this poor black kid with like no food and like shelter.
You want to be a grandfather to a poor black kid?
No. I mean, when I saw that poster, it said like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And in that poster, it said alive. It was something like charity. So when I was always thinking what I want to be when I grow up, I always thought in that term.
I think you totally missed the point of the poster though. That you're supposed to sympathize with the black kid who's starving.
Yeah, I did. But then, I just, put myself and I asked the same question to myself. And
the first answer you thought was for grandfather.
Yeah. Okay, no, but think about it.
Yeah.
Grandfathers are so damn accomplished, Like just think about it. First of all, they have
Mine's
to maintain.
Dead, so it's okay.
I mean, to become a grandfather, you have to first of all maintain your health to become a grandfather. So you got to like live
that
long.
Eventually deteriorates. So
no, but I mean, to actually just achieve that milestone, you have to like live that long, which is
get through life without killing yourself.
What you want is a hot wife when you're older. That's all you want for real.
No, but I mean, I feel he's really wise, and I can see. I mean, maybe I have a little bit of what's his name? Phil Dunphy also in me, the cool dad kind of guy. So that would be my transitioning phase into
Granddad.
That would be my transitioning phase. But
Okay,
Cool.
so from Manny to Phil Dunphy to Jay Pritchett. You just
did 3 recommendations.
No, you just I don't know how to put it.
Cool. I'll jump to a different show altogether. Jim Halpert from The Office. Played by John Krasinski, and he's my favorite character only for the reason because he messes with Dwight so much, and and that's one way for me to like generally have an outlet in life. You all have seen me get berserk and angry sometimes, but I try not to do that more often. I try to play different tricks on people to kind of like, get my way done, or and some of the best pranks on the show, I've related so much to it because I've played elaborate pranks on people in some point of my life, just to like mess with them.
Like what?
Wait. When you get angry at me in office, that's some kind of trick to get work done from me?
Yeah, now you know.
Okay.
But like for example, once for a girl's birthday party, he just showed me a middle finger from the side. Okay. So for a girl's birthday party in my college, we basically got her a cake and everything. And when she went to blow, the candles. We had found a pigeon baby lying around in the college, like just walking around. So we got the pigeon baby.
What is with you and pigeons, man?
I don't know. But we kept it behind our back. And when she came
kept
to like...
what? The pigeon?
Yeah.
Oh.
And she had no idea there was a pigeon in her hands, So she was just like leaning forward to blow the candles. And we put the pigeon in her face. And she freaked out so hard.
No shit.
And she cried on her birthday.
Oh my God.
That made me happy. So like even Jim goes out of his way to like, play pranks on people. And ever since I've watched The Office, at some point or the other, I always like if I have a moment of, oh my God, this is actually happening, I look away from the person for a second and hope to find like a camera where I can, just glare into.
Yeah.
So it's this one of these things that he does all the time. Even Phil Dunphy does that on Modern Family.
Right.
But, and like I've picked both characters from my TV shows for mockumentaries essentially. Even April Ludgate, who's from...
Oh, she was there on my list.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So April Ludgate is from Parks and Rec. And she's this baller chick who gives no shits about what's happening around her. She does no
Goals,
work.
yeah.
She has no love for anybody in general apart from her husband Andy and dogs. She loves animals.
Yeah.
And I think I resonate with that a lot. So April Ludgate, why do you think you want to be like her?
I mean, I just aspire to give like zero in life. I wish I could be like that.
Yeah.
Just not care and be so like emotionless, not react to things.
That is the secret to happiness. Like it's called detachment. Yeah, it's a real thing. That's what you get from medication. Medication.
Medication also.
You can be detached with medication also.
There's medication also for that.
Yeah. But yeah, like I mean, if you watched Parks and Rec, you'll be able to tell like April is just...
And also with her not giving so much of a shit.
Yeah.
There's also times when she just shines, and that's why people give her more work and better roles and more money. But she's like, I'm all over this, I don't want this, but she still gets it.
Oh my God, stop giving me so much work.
Yeah. So I think I do that a lot in my life, and if they put me on that desk in Parks and Rec, I'd be precisely the same thing. I'd be making fun of Jerry all the time for being Jerry, and call out people for being dumbasses. So it's just like I relate with her a lot, and I would genuinely like love to play that character if I ever got the chance. Anything else, Gaurav, from you?
I mean, the only last character I'd say for me would be not a real show. I mean, it's a real show, but I mean, not a real life actor, but like Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Oh, I had Stewie on my list.
So I mean, like I think
I can believe
the theme. The theme resonates, like a guy with a girl way out of his league, that kind of thing, married to
and the dumb American dad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, okay, he's a little bit like Mr. Bean in the sense he's no. I mean, in the sense that he is super duper dumb in a lot of situations, but like crazy smart in other situations, in like really dumb situations. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a genius behind, like, the.
I think Stewie's genius overpowers Peter's.
Are you kidding me?
Peter's not genius at all.
Yeah, Peter's... I don't see any hint of genius in him.
A clear copy of Homer Simpson, what I believe.
The script writing is, I think, brilliant for Family Guy and how they made it. And I mean, I just love Peter Griffin just because, he's such a guy I can relate to. He's this chubby guy, with a hot wife, and he does whatever he wants, gets drunk, has like some good friends, and that's the kind of life I'd want to live. A life with no consequences, where every episode you can die and like come back alive the next episode.
And fight with giant chickens.
Chickens, that's my favorite thing. But sure. I'll suggest something. I'll talk about something that I always wanted to play since I was a kid, from a movie of my liking. It's Indiana Jones.
Oh.
Like I've always had a flair for adventure, and ever since I was a kid I would like go into like random places, and and Indiana Jones has this particular characteristic where if he goes to like a ruined place, where it's like ancient and there's some gold over there, he doesn't care about so much about that ruin that's left behind, because for an archaeologist that would be more important. He just goes and gets his adventurous trophy and just like runs away from that. And I have done that a lot of times, not caring about the surroundings so much as the prize. So, and there's a flair for adventure. I genuinely believe that Indiana Jones is so cool, and I would totally throw Amish Puri down a bridge. So
yeah. Okay, anything else? I think I have one. So I recently watched Jessica Jones, and like the part I relate to her is you know how everyone around her thinks, oh, her life is so amazing or perfect, and everything actually is not perfect in her life. And she's the one always like either getting into trouble or just looking at her friends' lives and thinking, oh, like that's what I want but I don't have it, and these people don't realize it. So yeah, I think that's one aspect I could relate to her. Not the strength part, not at all.
But if you had to play the character, then they would give you the strength.
Yeah, so that would be awesome.
Don't worry about that.
I would.
But she also got like really manipulated mentally also. So
yeah,
be ready for that.
Yeah.
I mean, been there, done that. That's why I think I relate to it.
Awesome. So yeah, that's it from us for now. We spoke about characters that we would like to play on our favorite shows. Mostly we call Modern Family, but it's good. And I can't wait for the people to see Manny Delgado, who's right now in our studio in flesh. And we'll do that. We'll put up a photo of Gaurav on Instagram. You tell us what he looks like. And until then, my name is Navin Narona. We're signing off. It's IVM Likes. You can check out more shows on IVM Podcasts. Do write to us and tweet to us. We'd love to have your recommendations too. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
As you can see, we have a podcast listener in his natural habitat. Billions of years of evolution have led him to this point. He's on his way to work, and listening to podcasts makes his miserable day better. He will now head to work and use all his knowledge to communicate with other colleagues and possibly future mates. You can find more of his species on ivmpodcasts.com, your one-stop destination where you can check out all the coolest Indian podcasts. Happy listening.